Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got something incredibly urgent to unpack today. We're diving deep into a very specific, and honestly pretty alarming, warning recently sent out to clients by Morgan Stanley. If you're a developer, if you're running an enterprise, or honestly, if you're just trying to keep your head above water with how crazy fast AI is moving right now, you absolutely need to pay attention to what's coming in the second quarter of 2026. We're going to break down the hard data, the massive infrastructure money, and the exact timeline of what the bank is officially calling a non-linear jump in AI capabilities.
But before we even look at the bank's financial warning, we really need to listen to the people actually building these models. Back in February 2026, OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman basically came right out and said it. The world is just not prepared. He even admitted that this takeoff is moving faster than he originally thought. And think about that for a second. When the literal architect of this technology is caught off guard by its speed, we should probably all be taking notes, right?
All right, let's get into Section 1, the nonlinear AI warning, a mid-March wake-up call.
So mid-March 2026 rolls around. Morgan Stanley just wrapped up their big tech conference. They've been talking behind closed doors with AI executives, and they send out this highly specific note to their clients. And they completely echoed Altman, literally saying, the market is not prepared. But here's the kicker. They didn't just give some vague warning about AI getting better. They pinpointed a brutally narrow window, April through June of 2026. They're telling their clients, completely straight-faced, that a massive, undeniable leap in capabilities is hitting within this exact quarter.
Now, they use the term non-linear increase. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, it essentially means a rate of improvement in large language models that totally shatters the normal, predictable trend lines we're all used to. It's not a gradual, steady step up. Actually, scratch that, it's not even a curve. It's a sudden, violent leap upward. It's the kind of jump that catches massive enterprises and smart investors completely flat-footed simply because their internal systems just cannot adapt fast enough to handle it.
And if you look at the history, this nonlinear jump makes total sense. Think about how this timeline is compressing. You've got the Turing test back in 1950. It takes almost 50 years, 47 years to be exact, for Deep Blue to beat Kasparov in 97. Then just 14 years later, we get Siri in 2011. And a mere 11 years after that, ChatGPT drops in 2022 and totally rewrites the rules. The time between these earth-shattering milestones is just shrinking so fast, the acceleration is compounding, which sets the stage perfectly for this massive Q2 leap.
Which brings us to Section 2, the GDP-Val benchmark shift, moving from trivia to economic output.
Okay, so if you're wondering what technical shift is actually triggering this panic under the hood, here it is. We are completely changing how we measure AI. For years, we treated it like a really smart productivity tool, right? We'd give it high school exams, complex trivia, logic puzzles, but the industry has moved the goalposts. Now, the gold standard is measuring AI as an autonomous economic actor. Can this AI perform tasks that generate actual, measurable economic output? It's the difference between having an AI draft a nice email for you versus an AI that can autonomously run your entire supply chain workflow.
And this number right here is absolutely crucial. 83%. According to recent reports, the OpenAI GPT 5.4 thinking model hit a massive 83% on the GDP-Val benchmark. And remember, that's a test specifically designed to measure economically valuable tasks. This isn't some sci-fi future we're waiting for. This score proves the transition to autonomous economic agents is already happening. This is the smoking gun behind Morgan Stanley's warning.
Let's move to Section 3, the trillion-dollar infrastructure bet. We've got to follow the money.
Because look, a technical benchmark on a white paper is one thing. But if you really want to know if this capability jump is a sure thing, you follow the cash. And the money here is just mind-boggling. Morgan Stanley is estimating a staggering $2.9 trillion, with a T, will be spent on global data center construction through 2028. Why? Because the demand for AI compute is just vastly outstripping the supply. These tech giants aren't just crossing their fingers hoping for a breakthrough, they are betting $3 trillion in hard cash on the physical infrastructure to make it happen.
And all those massive data centers you've seen popping up everywhere over the last couple of years? Morgan Stanley says that represents less than 20% of the total build-out. More than 80% of that $2.9 trillion hasn't even been spent yet. The hyperscalers are literally just getting warmed up. So this isn't some speculative, maybe someday demand. It's a rock-solid reality, backed by massive construction contracts that are already signed and in motion.
Okay, brace yourself, because what makes that figure even crazier is what it actually covers. That $2.9 trillion, that is for construction costs only. literally just concrete, steel, cooling pipes, and servers. It doesn't include the software licenses, the armies of staff, the crazy energy contracts you need to power these things, or any of the enterprise integration work. Once you factor all that in, the true cost of this AI leap is astronomical. The Q2 jump isn't a theory, it's a financial certainty.
So let's pivot to Section 4, the Developer's Survival Guide. How do we actually prepare for this jump?
So how on earth do you prepare for a shift this big? Well, the main reason the bank is saying companies are totally unprepared comes down to a terrifying mismatch in speed. On one side, you have the classic enterprise procurement cycle. Big companies take, 6 to 18 months just to evaluate, test, and buy a new piece of software. But on the other side, AI capabilities are jumping in a matter of weeks. If your company takes a year to roll out a new workflow and AI completely reinvents that workflow in a month, you're trapped in a massive preparation gap.
To survive this, developers and tech leaders really need a new playbook. First, expect the rapid automation of human review tasks. Things like code reviews or data extraction, those are going fully automated, fast. Second, with $3 trillion being spent on physical buildings, compute is not getting cheap anytime soon, so plan for serious API cost pressure. Third, the golden opportunity right now is building the integration layers that fix that slow procurement gap we just talked about. And finally, and this is a big one, you have to pin your model versions. If you don't lock down your specific versions and aggressively test before upgrading, this nonlinear jump is going to completely break every assumption baked into your code.
So, what should you do right this second? Here are 3 immediate steps to track as Q2 approaches. Step 1. Keep your eyes glued to those GDP val updates. Watch for models pushing past that 83% mark. Step 2. Track API pricing shifts. Massive infrastructure spending usually happens right before major model releases, so pricing changes are a great early warning system. And Step 3. Focus your energy on building those bridge integration layers for the big, slow-moving enterprises, because they simply cannot build them fast enough on their own.
We've looked at the warnings, the new economic benchmarks, the literal trillions in infrastructure, and the survival playbook for developers, but I want to leave you with one final, really important question to ask yourself today. Is your enterprise roadmap genuinely ready for a non-linear jump? Morgan Stanley and Sam Altman have made it crystal clear. The world is not ready for what's coming between April and June of 2026. The only question left is, are you going to be the exception? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep learning.